Welcome to No Enemies Here, the show where you procrastinate and you get bothered by Robert Carroll, and then you get an interview, 2 interviews happening on the same day, and then you procrastinate a bit more because you've done so much work, and then Carl calls you because he wants to smoke a pipe, and you figured you've done enough procrastinating, keep procrastinating, and then you smoke a pipe, and then you do something really stupid, like you update the program, the software that you want to record the show on, and the microphone doesn't work and the camera doesn't work. I hope you hear me well, because everything is internal. Mac, that is. What can I say? So, I had a blasting of a time with KilRoyWasHere this morning. God, we laughed. He's my consigliere. And then I did an interview with Ed Bryan from, God, I forget the name of the company, but he's making the Aegis counter trays, right? And we had a few laughs, this and this and that, and I find out he was a war gamer. Obviously, he's making the trays. Like, who's gonna make the trays? Like, who's gonna go up to their boss and say, hey, boss, I got a good idea. Let's make counter trays for war games. Counter what? War what? You know what I'm saying? He's a war gamer, has a little bit of influence. We got the Aegis counter trays. I'm still waiting to get them. Plus, I think it's Trent or Trevor. I think it's Trent. He's the marketing guy. He's actually sending me a copy of the 50th anniversary of a Flying Buffalo game, which I'll be giving away. Not this show, but the next show, because I haven't gotten a game yet. You know what I'm saying? And look, it's a lot of fun. It's one of these games where you play a card and you nuke a country. It's horrible. It's horrible. But it's one of those games you have a couple of beers, a beer and pretzel game, and you got to take it in stride. You have to understand. You know what I mean? It's not politically correct. But the politically correct what? You know what I'm saying? And I also interviewed on my other channel, the Fokker Circus, the Pipe News. I interviewed one of the world's greatest tobacco blenders, Russ Willett, who his blood happens to be from Quebec. I just want to say something. And super nice guy, musician, jazz fan, and an incredible sommelier. I don't know what word to use as a tobacco sniffer. You know, because a wine sniffer is a sommelier, and a tobacco sniffer, anyways. It's a fun interview, and it's on one type of leaf of tobacco, and a myriad of ways you can transform this burley tobacco. And the knowledge is just, it's unbelievable. Anyways, it's about war games, right? This is about war games, because I'm going to get some flack for you know. And what a day. What a couple of days. Today we're Thursday, so I got to scramble, because Friday I'm working. And since I'm working every second weekend, it's screwing up my timing. And I mean, they're adding extra shifts, and I'm working like crazy because, they love me. I'm a great worker. And not really, anybody can take a shift. And I did something that is unforgivable. Unforgivable. I forgot my daughter's birthday. Oh, God. So, I'm eating a lot of poop because of that. And the poop is ongoing, right? Because I have to suffer the wrath. And I said, look, I'll make it up to you. I'll buy you the shoes you've always wanted. It's a bit expensive, but I want to get on her good side. I buy you the shoes you always wanted. And then she tells me, they're sold out. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. What do you want me to say? Carl Kreider, he had some news from the GMT con, but he told me I had to sign an NDA, so I can't tell you. But all I can tell you is that it's good news. And he's going to Pacificon. I don't know if the War Game Boot Camp is going to Pacificon. That's Carl and Tim. I know CSRs are over. Not the CSR. Not CSRs. The GMT warehouse thing was over. The con. And Carl said there was about 80 people, which is pretty cool. And it was a no mask thing. People who wanted to wear masks wear masks. Cool. You know, it's everybody's prerogative at that point to wear a mask or not, because it was legal at that point. And Just the Guard was there. John Butterfield was there. Mike Bertuccelli was there. I'm sorry, I gotta call him. I gotta make an interview with Mike. Keep forgetting. Jerry White was there. Man, I think Mark Rodrigo was there. And everybody's flipping out over bayonets and tomahawks, or tomahawks and bayonets. And I'm going to be going to the Stack Academy. Marc Gannett invited me, and I'm going to be interviewing Mark Rodrigo. A lot of Marks in Quebec. You know, Marco, Marquis, Marca. Anyways. Look, I mean, Marc Rodrigo, character. Marc Gannett, character. Carl Perazzi, character, understatement. The only normal person is me, for God's sakes. Can you imagine? Huh? Anyways, I hope the sound is fine. The video is crappy, but it's only for the intro. You know what I'm saying? I got my lights on. And regardless, it's all in fun. And I heard Mike Bossy passed. What's going on with hockey players, man? You know, the Le Démon Blond just passed a couple of days ago. Mike Bossy. I mean, these are heavy names in hockey. When I was watching hockey, when hockey was real. Anyways, have a great show. Yeah, have a great show. Herman has a video out on the great battles of Julius Caesar, Deluxe Edition. This is designed by himself and Richard Berg, and developed by Alan Ray. This is an unboxing. But Mark, learn how to use a camera! the great STUKAJOE gives us a live overview video of A Matter of Honor, annual 1921, a game designed by Jose Maria Rando and published by Aliyah magazine in 2021. All this on STUKAJOE. Those guys from the Players Aid, Grant and the other guy, are unboxing Clash of Monarchs from GMT and the initial impression of Successors 4th edition from Phalanx, and unboxing Plains Indian Wars from GMT Games, designed by John Paniski. And the enigma that is Zilla Blitz, talking about trucks, and unlocking the Kodiak C70. It looks like a Fallout game. Also, Liberty Road's 3rd printing, an unboxing, and something I cannot pronounce, Oresun Bridge Trivia Drive. I tried. And Drowned Scout Truck Rescue. What's going on with this guy? Plus Hill of Doves 2 Assault by Legion War Games. All this on Zilla Blitz. Indie Idol and Friends Great Channeled World War II Day by Day. 3 videos. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. The story of how they shellacked Yamamoto. Also, would you risk everything to fight the Nazis? Well, what choice do you have? And another episode called Why It Sucked to Be on a Merchant Ship in World War II. Well, you're going to fight a war, so it sucks pretty much. And the guy who puts out videos like he breathes. Wise Guy History. I can't speak anymore. A session report on Union victory. And the Germans drive on Bastogne. Also, Germans across the Meuse and strike for victory. And German victory at Ardennes 44. Map study, Barbarossa, Army Group Center, and Axis and Soviet forces overview. Man, come on. The Cop, that is Wayne Hansen, this week has 3 videos. A verdict on the overview and review of Verdict, Lee's Greatest Victory, Chancellorsville, and Recon, Corsair Leader, Errata Pack. And Let's Play Corsair Leader, Close Air Support. Wardy Road plays World War II on the 7th edition, created by Tom Olesen of the classic Avalon Hill game. Anzio! Actually, it's not. Actually, it is Anzio, 7th edition, Italia, an unboxing. My new patron, U-Boater658, 2 videos out. Napoleon's Last Gamble from Quatre Bras, 8 p.m. and MacArthur's War, September 50th. On Tony's Board Life, Advanced Recon Into the Woods. Into the Woods, these are from the Great Battle of the American Civil War, the Battle of Shiloh, April 6th to 7th, 1862, a game designed by Richard Berg, published by GMT. Man, these Civil War games, it's like Vietnam, it freaks me out. 3 videos on GIMPY, the GIMPY Gamers channel. Escape from Stalingrad Z, a Kickstarter. Also, a NATO Kickstarter. And 1985 Sacred Oil. The Sacred Oil, what oil? Part 4, I sound like an orc. You want to know everything there is about a tiger? A tiger tank, that is. How it sounds? How it doesn't start? How it starts? Well, watch the video of the Tank Museum. Tiger Day Online 2022. I saw it. I'm blown away! The penultimate episode of the 20 December turn. This episode focuses on the action in the northern half of the battlefield of the last Blitzkrieg, a battalion combat series campaign playthrough. On the Discriminating Gamer, Cody checks out Doctor Who and Cody's Game Shelf number 7 and the Cthulhu Wars Dual Extinction and a live Zombicide 2nd edition. The Board Games Chronicle, 2 videos this week, both on the Pacific War, that is Mark Herman's Pacific War. Number 6, Force Z from Singapore, and number 7, Raid on Darwin. Simple history talks about World War II guns still used in today's Ukraine war. God, there's actually a war happening. You know, this is a study in photography. I think this is the first thing you learn is background not in focus, foreground in focus. Up front, the environment of the upfront game on Seek Out and Play. I just found something else, man. A Sci-Fi Central, a channel for movies on Sci-Fi. You can watch Breakers, Sinkhole, Mythica, Vegas Skyline, all that. All that! The musician that is Rough Swordsman Wargamer does an unboxing of Napoleon's Last Battle. Pray tell, what can that be? Published by Decision Games. The professor that is Riccardo Mazzini on his Checkpoint Charlie. Giocare alla guerra durante una guerra vera. He's saying playing war games during a real war. That's all it is. It's all it is. On Patrick's Tactics and Tutorials this week, 2 videos. One of Command and Colors Ancients and Here Come the Rebels scenario number 5. Everybody's talking about bayonets and tomahawks. An unboxing on my own worst enemy of bayonets and tomahawks, plus Origin 2022 announcement.
Another update for the Shores of Tripoli for No Enemies Here. Let me tell you something about the Shores of Tripoli. At $60, this game is pure piracy. These gold coins, they're not even gold. They're not even chocolate. Crazy. This game is for billionaires only. You'd have to be crazy. No, you'd have to be harebrained to be any part of their tournament.
Hi, I'm Mike from Zilla Blitz.
And I'm Kevin from Fort Circle Games.
Welcome to the Week 4 Shores of Tripoli Online Tournament of Champions special update for No Enemies Here. Now, the tournament is drawing into its final stages, and we have a much better picture of both the team and the individual playoffs. But we wanted to start today with some of our individual awards for the tournament. I'm going to start off with our first award. Goes to the top U.S. player. Now, this goes to Alexander Lukowicz from California Dreaming, who was a 4-0 with the U.S. side with naval prestige point total of 59 points. Amazing performance. Congratulations to Alexander.
And the top Tripolitan player was Darren Rocket from MOD Culture from the UK, so I have to ship something to the UK. And he was 4-0 with 70 naval prestige points.
We also have a Stephen Decatur Young Commander Award. Now, this goes to Cody Ross from the Thomas McLaren School, playing for Otto von Bismarck. He went 7-1, and he could also win the overall player, as he's in that competition for the top player award, too.
And finally, we have the David Thompson Top Human Being Award. Now, normally, my wife would win this every year, but she has decided to take herself out of consideration. And so Sebastian Bay of Littoral Commanders has won the award because he is truly the hardest working man in wargaming.
Fantastic. And now let's take a look at how our playoffs are shaping up. We'll start with the team totals here. We have 3 teams still in contention, correct? Could have a potential to walk away with the top award. Rocks of Gibraltar, in their last week in week 4, put on another impressive performance, knocking Shadow Dawn down in the standings and out of the final competition. They now stand at 26 wins, 5 losses, and 1 tie. And we know they're going to be one of our 2 final teams. Now, the replacements, if things were to end right now, the replacements are in second place with 42 points. However, lurking in the shadows is the Georgetown Board Gamers, who have played 29 matches and have 36 points. If they win all their last 3 matches, they would tie with the replacements, forcing a playoff between the replacements and the Georgetown Board Gamers for the honor of going up against Rocks of Gibraltar in a best-of-9 series for the final championship top team award.
Very well explained. Very well explained. Now I get to talk about the individual awards.
Which is a lot harder.
Yeah, well, actually not. So the Preble Medallion will go to the best individual player. And currently Lauren Hartsfield of the Rocks of Gibraltar, she went 8-0. She has the top seed, and she has a bye to the finals. Now there are 4 players who were 7-1. Cody Formato von Bismarck, Miles, Lauren's husband from Rocks of Gibraltar, Alden from the Royal Navy, and Keisho from the Commodores. And the 4 of them will face off against each other in a playoff, and single elimination. The higher seed gets to choose which side they want to be. The winners then will face off against each other, and then finally the winner of that will face off against Lauren, and that final is a best-of-3 series. So we'll see who wins. So
lots of interesting combinations. Possibly have a husband-wife final for the top player, which would be interesting.
I would not want to be in that household, depending on who wins and loses that one. So
lots to look forward to. We'll be back in a few days on the Fort Circle TV channel with a new update as things take shape as we head into the playoffs. Thanks so much for watching.
See y'all.
Mo of Mo's Game Table is with Bruce Maxwell of NATO Design. The Cold War Goes Hot. War of Nerves, a tutorial. Mike Lambo. Everybody's talking about Mike Lambo. Mike Lambo, this guy's a star. He does solitaire book games, but he throws them out like once a week. And this time, he's got 2 videos out. The Race to Bastogne, a quick look, and The Race to Bastogne, a playthrough. For all our Italian listeners and 900 subscribers, Mauro Faina! With episode 62, 63, and 64 of Il Gianni Zero Nero. Also, he talks about North Africa, the battle in the desert. He's live on 2 videos. All this on Il Gianni Zero Nero at Mauro Faino. The vampire there is Mark Felton Productions has 3 videos out and 1.6 million subscribers. Holy moly. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. So Mark Felton, the vampire, has 3 videos: Azov Battalion, History and Symbols, plus Luftwaffe jets versus Remagen Bridge, Germany's last air battle, really? And the last U-boat attack, 1982. Play the Battle of Hobrick's Hill for free on Little Wars TV. You know, I should take my own advice and just shut up, relax, and watch a couple of movies, which you could check out exceptional historical films and documentaries on Lionheart Filmworks. You know, it makes me think. It makes me think of a Kate Bush tune from Lionheart album, actually. I love Kate Bush. Anyways, on Lionheart Filmworks, you can watch Lincoln and the War Within, and the making of Let It Begin Here, a museum film, plus the Black Sox Scandal, the Gangster Empire, 1919 baseball game, man. Yeah, I think, wasn't this where where one shoe, I forget it. I forget the guy's name. Yeah, whatever. And the Battle of Gettysburg in miniatures. All this on line art. Legendary Tactics is on a tear! Playing a choir board game playthrough. Also, Cards, the gameplay, a fun comeback, and Gloomhaven board game. It's a spoiler alert. Plus, 3 videos on the tournament of the Shores of Tripoli. Tournament game number 13, 14, and 15. On Kings and Generals, we have 4 videos out. Constantinople, I can never, Constantinople. Oh, for God's sake. I don't know why I can't say that name. Constantinople. Anyways, 674 to 678 and Marjorite 684. Plus, medieval origins of Ukrainians and how for God's sake, someone help me please. Put me out of my miseries. Shoot me. How the Mongol Empire fell, medieval history, plus Battle of Trivana, the Trivana Pass in 1 minute. For God's sake. KilRoyWasHere, my consigliere. Robert Carroll has no time to do videos, but he's got 6 videos out this week, and he has enough time to bust my chops early in the morning or before I go to work, to make me think about things I don't want to think about. What can I say? KilRoyWasHere, 6 videos. Hill of Doves by Legion Wargames, a setup, an after-action report, and initial play. Also, For What Remains, Blood on the Rails by DVG, a game by that handsome David Thompson, plus Coffee with Kilroy, Masada, Epic Last Stand in the Desert, and looks at Red Menace, World War III in 1959 by Battle Space Games. You know what? I like this game. It's very arcadey, it's a lot of fun, and you know what? If you like a relaxed game, you want to take on vacation while you're in the country smoking a pipe, Red Menace is a great one. Plus Coffee with Kilroy, B-17, The Flight for Supremacy. Juste Garde has 2 videos out. I know you see 3, but I'm telling you it's 2. He's at the GMT weekend at the warehouse. 3 videos of that, even though I've already... Oh, maybe I just seen it. I looked at it. Maybe we didn't know. So Juste Garde has 3 videos out, all on the GMT weekend warehouse, spring 2022. For all our Spanish viewers, the great Jose Luis of Julius Fairfax looks at Mark Herman's and Jeff Engelstein's Versailles 1919. The Minister, that is Joel Toppin, has 6 videos out, starting with Malta Besieged inside the new edition, also from Malta Besieged, Operation Tiger. Then he jumps into Salerno 43, a Mark Simonich game from GMT. He does Avalanche, Avalanche Victory, I should say Avalanche Endgame, Avalanche Victory, and Salerno 43 campaign game number 1 Invasion. But shouldn't it be the other way around? Respect! Jim Ozarski, the Battle of Eggmühl for Blücher on Jim Ozarski. ID Jester and the War Room Gents are back on with Mark Walker and ... I don't know who that guy is. Plus he has another 5 videos on Warframe. Big day!
Hello everyone, this is Misza Leviathan-Sorbet from the Polish YouTube channel Wojennik TV. As every week, here is my quick roundup of the content published on Wojennik TV during the last 7 days. On Sunday, I released a video which was requested by many of my viewers. This was the list of my top 10 war games. But top 10 war games which are my favorite war games. I didn't rank war games in terms of how good I think they are or how popular they are, but based on how much I like playing them. So this is my absolutely favorite list of games, and on this list I included many classic games, many games which I have played for several years, which I still enjoy playing. If you're interested in taking a look what was ranked number 1, you can take a look at this video. The video was recorded in Polish, but we do have all the names of the games in the video. We have all the pictures presented during the video, so you won't have any problem in recognizing what title I am talking about. The second video, which was published during the last 7 days, was an English review released on Tuesday, which was the review of a very rare, very obscure game, which was released by Les Jeux du Griffon, a French company, a few years back, and this was the review of RC4, The Road of Death, RC4, La Route de la Mort. This is a game which covers one of the most important battles fought during the Indochina War. This was the Battle of Route Coloniale 4, Colonial Road number 4. This was a disastrous defeat of the French forces by Viet Minh forces, which was due to a failure of evacuating the garrison of Cao Bang near the Chinese frontier. 2 French columns, one from Cao Bang, the second one, which was meant to recover the retreating forces, were destroyed, ambushed, and then destroyed by Viet Minh forces. And this game enables us to recreate those events. Very interesting battle. The game itself, not quite, but I won't be giving you any more specific details. If you're interested in discovering this game and in listening what I think about it, you can take a look at this video. This was a video recorded in English. Finally, the third video which I released during the last weekend, which was wargaming related, historical related, was the unboxing of Maquis. Maquis is a game which is focused on the French resistance during the Second World War. We take control of a group of resistance fighters, workers, which are trying to accomplish missions during a given period of time. Each play is different because each time we will be randomly drawing a different set of missions to accomplish. Each time we will also be able to install different kinds of additional buildings or infrastructure which can help us in order to accomplish our missions. This is quite an abstract game, a worker placement game, but obviously set in the reality of Second World War. Extremely entertaining. I have already played it several times, but for now I have only released the unboxing of the game. A review both in Polish as well as in English will soon follow. And those were the 3 videos which I released on Wojennik TV, which were wargaming related during the last 7 days. As usually, I wish you an excellent weekend. I wish you a great gaming, and see you next time.
And there he is, my favorite Frenchman, Fred Serval. He's getting all chummy with my buddy Volko. What the hey is going on? And he's playing Nevsky. This guy thinks he's smart or something. All this on Omoluden, learning to play Nevsky with Volko, Runke, and Sam from Lord of the Board. And the fantastic channel that it is History Hustle gets on a subject called Ukrainian Waffen SS, the Galician Division. Holy moly. Aegis Counter Trade. A review on Hex to Hex. Board game counter storage solution. They're all over the place. Aegis, that is. Harsh Rule unboxes Aegis Counter Trade. They're all over the place. They're all over the place. Aegis Counter Trade seems to be the counter tray of all counter trays. Aegis Counter Trade on Harsh Rules. Diagonal Move has 2 games. 2 videos, I should say. Dawn of Empire playthrough, turns 1, 2, 3, and the end of the game. Dave's Gaming Cave, 3 videos. He's doing Corsair Leader Coral Sea Day 1 Mission 1 and Carrier Ops of the Coral Sea Variant Part 1. And he takes a look at Corsair Leader Carrier Ops. When he takes a look, it's 2 videos already, so he takes a look. At the Variant Part 2, a game by DVG. You see, and this is why I like combat board games. Because he's like Dave, the punk rocker of War Game Institution. Because he brings out games, older games, weird games, and now he looks at a solitaire dungeon crawl inspired by the tunnel rats in Vietnam. Talk about guts. To, you know, non gratis rodentum, the tunnel rats. So To be a tunnel rat in Vietnam, I mean, the horror movie of the century. Okay, it's a game designed by Steve Deisman and Ian Richards, all on combat board games. The man famously known as Calandale and Rico Viglino, 6 videos this week as opposed to 1 video last week. And what he does is Leipzig 11, I guess that's the end of it. Then he plays Corrupt Bargain, the intro, parts 1, 2, 3, and wrap, and a review of Corrupt Bargain. The Chief of Bonding with Board Games is live, and he says it's been a bit because he hasn't been around live, that is, because everybody's busy. He's busy with Twilight 2000 solo demonic version or evil version, plus Dratus and me, Ron Nicholson. We got to get back on track here with our Twilight 2000, the real version. I mean, the super duper version, our version, and we were in a bind, and it stopped. We got to continue. Artie of ARDWULF'S LAIR has 4 videos. He's previewing Aegis's storage counter trays. They say it's a good thing. Also unboxing 4 Lost Battles, November 2022 Update Edition. And giveaways, counter clipping, fantasy and sci-fi wargaming. I like fantasy and sci-fi wargaming. I don't care what anybody says. Plus, everything you always wanted to know. What do I mean afraid? Everything you always wanted to know about wargaming but were afraid to ask, with Ardwulf and Dan Pancaldi and maybe some more people about losing wargaming. Yeah. 6 Actual is doing an RAF Deluxe Edition from Decision Games unboxing in 4K. Look at the colors. Look at the colors. Look at the blue. Look at the blue. 3-Minute Board Games is looking evil with 10 games he wants brought back from the dead. Be careful what you wish for, big guy.
Hey, Dad. Are you watching No Enemies Here again?
Hello all! Today, Kilroy goes off the shelf on nuclear war, or how I learned to stop worrying and love the bomb. Earlier this week I was looking at Red Menace, and the map reminded me eerily of ICBM, which got me thinking about nuclear war, or the threat of it as used in games. This diving into the rabbit hole of increasing diversions was like a bad episode of James Burke's Connections. Anybody remember that? Brilliant series, but I digress.
Ever since I saw those little plastic mushroom cloud pieces from the Risk-like game Supremacy, I was fascinated how nuclear weapons might be portrayed in a game setting.
I even took some high-level classes in college on the arms race. And some of these topics were a lot heavier than, or some of these books and classes were a lot heavier than I had expected. The unthinkable thought of using nuclear weapons has haunted me since I was a young boy, seeing those horrible pictures of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, or the after effects, or listening to the eerie lyrics of OMD. Can you really put that into a game? Well, yes.
I divide those type of games from my collection into 3 categories: pre-game warm-up, quarterback option, and game time. Hey, the NFL draft was this week. Sorry.
Games falling under the pre-game warm-up generally handle nuclear war as a potential end result, or more often as the end-game trigger. Typically, you never actually fight the war or use the weapons. And these games include, 13 Days, the Cuban Missile Crisis, and its little brother, 13 Minutes, which, by the way, is what my wife calls our sex life, another topic. There's the Twilight Struggle, which, you know, has the DEFCON chart, which when you get to DEFCON 1, you lose the game or the game is over, and the person that caused it to go to the DEFCON 1 is the ultimate loser. You don't always go to DEFCON 1 in this game, but that is one of the end triggers. And then, of course, you have Labyrinth, which doesn't talk about nuclear weapons specifically, but it talks about WMDs and, you know, getting an WMD into the United States, which would cause the United States to lose. Not to forget, that's a heavy one because I got everything stuck in there. Not to forget the Euro side of things. You have Manhattan Project, which also has several kind of expansions or offshoots of it as well that deal with developing nuclear weapons. And this is basically a worker placement game where you are going to, you know, work on developing and getting the elements to create the bombs, like uranium or plutonium, and then building bombs. But you never actually use them. It's the point of building it and getting to the end of it. These games all focus on the lead up and not the actual use of weapons. Next you have our quarterback options. These are historical or alt history games where the use of nuclear weapons is treated as optional, either through optional rules, what if scenarios, or the like. My first experience with this was good old Hitler's War, an Avalon Hills game where you actually develop the atomic bomb. You have a research track, which is kind of reminiscent of some of the Axis and Allies type research, but you actually have a research track where you develop the A-bomb, and so it is actually an option in this game. And not to be outdone, World in Flames Blitz also has a rule for developing the A-bomb as well in a World War II context or as an option. Then you have Second Fleet, or the entire Fleet series, and it has rules for basically tactical nuclear weapons, tactical nuclear warfare as an optional rule, but goes on for about a page total, talking about using tactical nukes in a modern war theater. Now, there's been a lot of releases of games from the same period as the Fleet series, like NATO, Third World War, and the Next War series, which is kind of taking a more futuristic look. But those games have, I don't have any of those, but my understanding is that those games have rules or options for tactical nukes as well. And in that same vein is the Iron Curtain, which is dealing with, a hypothetical World War III in Central Europe, and has several scenarios that go from 1945 to 1989. And it, of course, has rules for nukes and chemicals, and how do you use those, and what are the effects of using those. And you actually even have a game from the Korean War from Victory Games, that basically had rules on atomic weapons and how it affects, this is an optional rule, but it basically has kind of an indirect or effect on global tension and how you roll for that. But again, not to be outdone from war games to Euro games, there are several Civ building type games or Civ builder games that allow you to use a research track, much like in Hitler's War, but you develop the technology of your civilization, and a lot of these have the ability to develop atomic weaponry and actually use it. In fact, last time I played this, my son did nuke me. Kids these days. Also, a little nugget that I found lying on my shelf somewhere is Superiority from Yaquinto Games, which is really kind of a basic, almost Stratego type game. At least some of the effects on it is relatively basic, but it has optional rules that you can actually get into nuclear weapons in this game. As you see there, it's a level 1 of level 4, you know, because that made a lot of sense of how those complexity scales were. But this is part of their album game series, and this dealt with nuclear war as well. This game came out in the 80s, but allowed you to actually use the weapons, again, back into my quarterback options section. Finally, it's game time, where the primary focus of the game is all-out nuclear war. Now, this includes the classic nuclear war, which I don't have, but I have nuclear escalation and nuclear proliferation. And basically, this was a very silly, irreverent, meant to be silly, irreverent game on nuclear war. And maybe call it satire, but basically you had these cards that you play. It's basically a card game that you're going to be playing on your country map, and you're going to be matching up missiles, which tells you how much megatons you can carry, with how much megatons, which tells you how many people you destroy. And there's your people, and that's your population, and that's the whole role of the game. Now, these came with a glow-in-the-dark die there, and then the nuclear proliferation came with this, I don't know what you call that, but that's a interesting die there. So again, not serious, and probably not respectful to to nuclear war, but let's just consider that satire. Then of course you have ICBM, which is a step up from nuclear war, but not much. I mean, this is more of a hex and counter game, as you see here with the map. You have United States and Soviet Union, and the counters are missiles. And basically, it's a missile fest of missiles launching and going back and forth to each other, which again, brings me back to Red Menace and the Red Menace map, which is color and black and white. So it brings us back full circle, which kind of got me on this, roundabout way of talking about nuclear weapons. James Burke would be proud of my efforts, at least I hope. So anyway, that's what I have. And again, this is just games in my collection. Your mileage may vary. Your collection, of course, varies. And I just thought I'd take you on this little journey down the nuclear road.
A game for gamers, made by gamers, by Flying Pig Games.
Another week, another show. I just downloaded this thing here, and it erased some of my files. Marana. Jaffa Chipu. Another week, another show. I just got back from work. I'm finishing this episode for tomorrow. Please like and subscribe. And please support this channel. What can I say now? I just got back from work. I'm having a bit burger. I'm gonna go watch TV with my, my honey bunny. Then I'm gonna smoke a pipe. And then I'm gonna go to bed. Rinse and repeat. That's what it is. Could you believe Kevin Bertram? Guy's crazy. I thought I was crazy. He's crazy. I worked this weekend. I hope you don't. Hey, I had an interview with Ed Bryan, the guy from Aegis Counter Trades. It was spontaneous. One morning, bang, 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 I got an email. I said, hey, let's go on. Bing, boom, boom. He goes on. He doesn't even know what's going on. I don't even know what's going on. But we talked about the Aegis Counter Trades. Seems everybody's talking about the Aegis Counter Trades. It's a counter trade. Anyways, it's cool. I mean, that's how niche, that's how nitpicky we are. You know what I'm saying? A most fearful sacrifice. I just got it. That's what's happening now. Next week, we're probably going to be bombarded with videos showing a most fearful sacrifice. Look, it's a heavy box. It's a Herman Luttman. blind sword system, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm saying it right. Also, it's a Rick Barber map, mounted board Rick Barber map. I mean, it's exciting. I think it's exciting. Plus, I'm getting a pipe made by Eldridge Pipes. Check him out on the net. You'll see. He's different. It's really cool. Anyways, people, be nice. It's easier to be nice than to be a miserable old wretch. You sleep better when you're nice. You know what I'm saying? Have a good weekend, man.